storytelling cafe, and this is the last one until September because Mike
Yeah.
and I are having a summer, and we expect you people to have a summer too. But for now, I'm not participating in this because I'm boiling in a lay-by on the just on the A45 somewhere near Coventry, on my way back to Gloucester. So I'm going to announce what's happening. Uh, next next week is Michael Kerrins on a Friday, and the week after that is Baba C. Um,
Baba
and
C, Baba C, Baba C, Baba C.
oh, don't big him up too much. He'll be unbearable. All right. There's anyway, Baba C. Good to see you, my man. Very good. So then for those who want to participate in an open mic, on the for July, no, for August and September, Tales of Justine's Tales and Tunes will be on the second Wednesday of August and September. For a similar reason, she's insisting on enjoying herself somewhere. I don't know. It's a terrible, terrible
Well,
habit.
isn't she at Cambridge as well?
No,
Oh, sorry, I
no,
thought she was. So,
no. Who's at
no.
Cambridge? Claire Goodall, Mike Rust, whoever he is, uh, Amy Douglas, uh, Lloyd Went,
John Rose, John
Sarah
Rose there.
Lloyd Wendell,
Got John Rose there.
uh,
Yay!
Janina, and Unita Vigers, Veronica Chambers, Greg someone, or Dan, I don't know. I haven't got the names in front of me. But it's a good selection, and I'm going to be there. That shouldn't put you off. But for now, I'm going to pass you over. Oh, and on the news, I had a wonderful day yesterday at Old Hall with Yusufu Jello, the Cowfoot Prince, and that was amazing. He was fantastic, and his drum, of course, drums up an audience in the most magnificent manner. However, for the moment, I'm going to hand over to Mike Russ, and I'm going to get back on this road before I melt. So,
Right.
fairly well, everybody. Thank you, Mike. You've got at least two people there, so.
No, Pat. Well, Baba and I will just have a chat, but I need to catch up with you in the week, John. So I'll call you Tuesday morning if you're in Gloucester.
Yeah, Tuesday. Yeah, I should be around.
Yeah, brilliant.
Call me Monday or Tuesday. I'm going up to Cambridge on Wednesday, so
Right,
call
okay.
me Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, okay. Cheers, then. Have a good. Take
Very
care.
well.
Okay,
Bye.
mate. Okay, ta-da, ta-da. Well, Baba. so when are you coming over to the UK?
Well, I'm definitely coming in January, and I'm slated to come in October for something that Zuair is doing.
Oh,
So
yeah.
October and January, fingers crossed. But
Well, if you're coming over in October, you need to come to us. Our festival's the 11th, 12th, 13th of October
okay, so where's your festival?
in Shropshire, where we are here.
Okay.
Get a word in
So I
edgeways.
should do a layover there and then go on to Marrakesh.
Oh, yeah, you're this side of the pond.
We'll see.
If you know how to work the system, and we know how to work the system, if you're going one way from the UK to Marrakesh, it's £25. That's $30. Okay.
Okay.
That's all you're talking about. Okay.
Whoa. Okay. Well, my tickets are being done by Zuair's side, so he has control over my tickets, and I think they're putting me on Moroccan Air. Well, that's not what they call it, Royal Moroccan. So, but I'll bear that in mind because that is, one of the things I like about your side of the pond is so much less expensive to travel. Sometimes it's cheaper for me to go to, it'd be cheaper for an American to go to the UK than it is for us to go to the other side of our country.
Well, it's knowing the system sometimes and everything else.
Yes.
The good thing about it is that it's only £25 there and back to Marrakesh. You have to leave Liverpool Airport, and if you can find Liverpool Airport, because it's probably the smallest airport in the UK, it's now the John Lennon Airport, and you leave like 2 o'clock in the morning. But apart from that, it's okay.
All right. I'll keep
But
that
I was
in mind.
looking at it the other day, and the next time, one of the options is whether I am going to do this, whether it's next time or not, is do you go to Gibraltar, you hop over into Morocco, and then they've got one of these new high-speed trains that you don't have in America. One of the double-decker ones that go 250 miles an hour.
Yeah, we don't have that. We've been trying to get that for eons. But
Yeah.
there's a certain political party that wants to derail, pun not intended, the whole trains, the Amtrak system. They want to do away with passenger rail. And of course, they don't have enough clout to get rid of it, but they can't impair it. And so,
Right. So
yeah.
which lot's that? The Trumpies lot or the other ones?
Yeah, no, 45's lot. I try not to say his name.
Oh, right, okay. Yes, sir.
You know.
Okay. Well, he's a very good ducker, I hear.
Say that again.
He's a very good ducker.
Okay, I think that if you're saying what I think you're saying, yes.
Wait.
You know. Yeah. He's
You know the word. You know the word duck in America. Is that the same as over here?
Oh, okay.
A duck,
All right.
where you duck out of the way. If someone chucks you a punch and you duck out of the way.
And see, you just use another expression that I haven't heard in a while. When you chuck something, in the States, yeah, when you chuck something in the States, that's an old Southern word. But I understand it. Yes.
Right. So there's another one, and a friend of mine did this. Right. Okay. So if you book into a hotel in the UK and you have an alarm call, so you want an alarm call at 8 o'clock in the morning so you can get ready and come down to breakfast for 9 o'clock, say, yeah?
Yes.
One of the expressions we would use, will you come and knock me up, please?
That has a different connotation here.
Yeah, so that means that a waiter will come and knock on the door and do nothing else because it just wakes you up. Or normally nowadays the phone will ring. It's a very old expression. It goes back a couple of hundred years. But the phone will ring and it said, "This is your alarm call. It's 8 o'clock in the morning." And that's what it means, right? She went to the States and she said to one of the first people she went there, said, "Can you come and knock me up at 8 o'clock in the morning?" He went, "Yeah." They had to explain it to him.
Yes, because they share the story of an American exchange student who was in Great Britain, and she was telling her host family, they served a big meal, and she said she was stuffed.
Yeah.
And her British host family looked at her kind of peculiar and said, "Oh." Well, she was unaware that stuffed there is colloquial for pregnant.
Right.
And then she was in school one day, and one of the boys asked her if he could have one of her rubbers, and she smacked him, not understanding that a rubber is an eraser.
Yeah.
Here, rubber is not an eraser. Well, it erases the possibility, but it's not an eraser. So yeah, sometimes you have to be very careful because words change meaning.
Yeah.
You know,
so, and the other famous one is that there was a teacher that did a swap. So it was an American teacher came to the UK and the UK teacher went to America. And the UK teacher was in America and there was an argument over a pen or a cup or something. So he says, "Right, these are to two boys." He says, "Write down there and we're all going to toss for it." Now, that means tossing a coin.
Yes.
And the winner decides what's going to happen, right? In
Right.
America, that doesn't mean the same.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't.
Yeah.
This is why I find language so fascinating. You
Oh,
know.
it's and the other famous one along these lines was back in the, well, when my kids were small. So Anna's now 44, so it's going back 40 years, okay? But we always worried about our children and how we were going to keep an eye on them and everything else. And the American company came up with a tracker, and you put the tracker on the child, and you had a little handset, and it would tell you where the your child was within about 2 miles in those days. But it was an American, so they called it a bug. So you could bug your children. So they
Yeah.
called
Oh,
the little bugger.
yes. I knew that was coming. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That. Yeah. Right. No.
Yeah, that's you don't use that. That's different over here. Like,
No.
yeah.
No.
Right. Well,
Whoa.
I'm just chatting away now because there's only 2 of us. So
I got you. No,
I'll show you where I am. Look, because I've got it on my portable just for once. Can you see?
yes.
I'm on the deck. I'm on the decking here, so I don't know what you can see and what you can't see. But this is where I sit when I'm sat outside. And one day, Baba, see, you'll come and sit here.
Yes.
As soon as you get over to the UK, you are very welcome to come and stay here for a couple of days or so. We'd have a ball. I'll show you all the things that we do in Shropshire, like go to the pub and watch cricket. Okay.
And you're going to have to bring me up to stuff on cricket. It's not widely watched here, although it is played in some high schools and some universities. But
well, you just play. It's a bit more prevalent than it was because you've just played in the World Cup. But your
Right.
bat and ball game is baseball.
Yes, they call
Yeah.
it America's pastime.
Yeah, we call it rounders.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't find it. Shouldn't say this, but well, the big 3 sports in the United States don't hold my attention. You know, I just can't get excited over it. I've tried,
That's
but I don't.
tennis, golf, and baseball. Is that
No.
right? No.
Football, what we call football, basketball, and baseball. Golf and tennis, although big now, are not considered the top 3. They're maybe in the top 5.
Right. Okay. Now, basketball we don't watch. Well, I don't watch at all in any
No,
way at all.
don't feel bad. I don't either.
But
I
your
used-
American, yeah, your American football is. I have watched it, but I find it very slow compared to ours. We have rugby union and rugby league, and it's the same pointy ball thing and everything else. But I
Right.
just find it a bit slow. That's all. So,
Yeah, it doesn't hold my attention either. And I have historical and cultural problems with it that go beyond
Right.
what we see on TV. You know.
yeah. Well, yeah, we got it. The past. The past gives us the future. The present dictates how that future shall be.
Yes.
So we're in the 21st century. So sometimes we have to look forward more than we look backwards.
Yes.
I do think that sometimes. Yeah.
And I agree, but it's like building a house. If you don't have a good foundation, the house will start to slip and slide. Walls are cracked, ceilings can come down. You have to understand your foundation in order to have a good present, so that you have a better tomorrow. And so,
Well, yeah. So one of our greats, like Dwight Eisenhower and all those, was Winston Churchill. And Winston Churchill once said, "The further you go back, the further you can go forward."
agree.
And we all think that.
Yeah.
You know, we all think that. The
See, the
further you go
trick is-
back, the further you can go forward.
The trick is, or not trick, the challenge is understanding and being aware of the past, but not being stuck in it.
Yeah, no,
And-
exactly. No, I would agree with that 100%. That's what I was trying to say. That's exactly what I was trying to say. Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah. Right. So we're going to tell a story to each other, or we're just going to keep
Sure.
chatting to that first and see if anybody else.
You go first.
Have you got a story that's burning off your tongue that you want to tell?
Well, I have several that are okay. So I'm learning new stories.
Yeah.
Stories, and I told one the one I told the last time I was here, and it just went out of my head. So I have these new stories that are trying to surface, and the old stories are saying, no, wait your turn. But
Right.
I have some reminder slips here because there are a couple of stories I like to tell, and this will be my first time telling them. And while I'm talking to you, I'm looking. I don't call it a cheat slip, but I'm looking at my. Oh, it just disappeared.
Yeah.
I'm
So
looking at my
2 weeks
reminder.
ago, 2 weeks while you're looking, 2 weeks ago, I did a practice story because I practiced one I hadn't told before about the butterfly and the chrysalis and the caterpillar. I know you were there. I don't know if you remember, and it was the one about the traveling story about life, about the caterpillar turns into a chrysalis, and heaven is like a butterfly going from the nectar to the flowers and the beautiful things. And I was gonna. It's one of my funeral stories. But when I got there, I told us something completely different, like you do.
Yes, that's
Yes.
happened to me. Early in my career, I discovered that I could have a story that I was going, that I had rehearsed to tell for a particular group.
Yeah.
But a lot of times when I get someplace, the vibe may be different, and I open my mouth to tell the story that I had rehearsed for that day, and another story entirely comes out.
So my father used to say, and now Dad, he was never a storyteller like we're storytellers. You can't say that in the UK there was a family of storytellers that went back into through the generations because it didn't exist. But Dad was an after dinner speaker, and he used to stand up at things like Probus and Rotary and Round Table and that kind of thing. And
Right.
he did a talk. He had to do a talk to the bank once, and that sort of thing, and everything else. But he'd always have a few jokes and funny stories lined up to tell. And he used to say when he did a speech or a lecture or something, he put a couple of crosses in the margin of his speech, and when he got to a cross, he'd tell a joke just to break it all up a bit or something,
Right.
And he
Right.
used to say, just tell the one that's on the tip of your tongue, because the one that's on the tip of your tongue fits the space and the people that you're looking at, because the story's always right. And he told me that when I first started doing this, a long time ago now, 50 odd years ago, whenever it was, he sat down and told me that. He said, I'm going to do this speech in Malvern. Come along and have a listen to it. But he'd take the stories that we tell and shorten them and make them more comedic. He would try to have a punchline to them and everything else,
Right.
And that is one way of telling stories, and I do the opposite. A story's got a natural length. You can make it longer. You can start off a story by saying, well, he started polishing the car, and then he checked all the tires before we turned the engine on, and then he started down. You can make it longer all the way, but a story's got a natural length. And I would always say that. And once I found the natural length, I didn't really change it very much. But he would shorten them if he could. He really could, yeah. Anyway, sorry, what were you going to do? You've got one lined up.
Well, I do when someone's trying to come in. Let me let them in.
Oh, I've got that. Yeah, I've got that.
Oh, that's Despina.
Despina, yeah.
She says Despina.
Despina, right, okay.
Okay, I have an accent. Leave me alone. All right. So actually, what I want to do is 2 weeks ago I shared this story, but I want to share it again because to me a good story is like a good meal. It's worth having again.
Mm-hmm.
So this story is I just forgot where this story comes from. Oh, I know what the story is. Okay, so I have the pleasure and the honor of working or co-teaching with another storyteller who's also a teacher. And she told an Indonesian story. And I asked her for permission to tell the story, but I said, I got to put that Baba C twist on it. And she said, yes. So I'm going to tell the story as it would take place in, forgot the name of the country. But I don't want to call it an African tale because that's too broad, but it's from an African country. And this story is about an aardwolf, AARD, like aardvark.
Yeah.
But it's based on another character called a mouse deer, which is neither a mouse nor a deer. Well, the aardwolf is not a wolf. Why it's called a wolf, we don't know. Maybe something in translation. But it's about an aardwolf. And the aardwolf is a small, scruffy-looking animal. Some people say it looks like a hyena. Some people say it looks like a jackal, but it's neither. And the aardwolf is very small. And like so many people today who are too busy looking in their phones to watch where they're going, the aardwolf was lost in thought, wasn't really paying attention to where he was going, and he fell into a hole. And the hole was deep, 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 deep. And the aardwolf was at the bottom of the hole looking around, and it tried to jump out, but it couldn't. It tried to jump out, but it couldn't. It tried to jump out. Well, you got the picture. So the aardwolf is sitting down at the bottom of this hole, and there's a leaf on the ground, and the aardwolf looks at the leaf, and he's just looking at the leaf because he had nothing else to do. So the aardwolf, which is not really a wolf, was sitting there when along came a lion. And the lion's looking down the hole, and he sees the aardwolf. He says, "Hey, what are you doing down there? There. And he said, oh, you don't know? The world's about to be destroyed. The world's about to end. And the only safe place is down here in this hole." And the lion went, "What? The world's about to end? The world is about to end?" "Yes. And the only safe place is down here in this hole. So the lion, being wise and the king that he was, jumped down in the hole. I'm not going to do that to the whole story, but anyhow.
No, do the whole story. Yeah.
No, I'm doing the whole story. I'm not going to do the echo through the whole story. Sometimes it'll be there, and sometimes it won't. Whoa. Anyhow. So he's down there, and when he gets down there, the dust from the bottom of the hole starts going, and the aardwolf, which isn't a wolf, says, "Oh no, don't sneeze. If you sneeze, you got to be thrown out of the hole, and you'll be up there when the world is destroyed." So the lion caught his sneeze. And while they're down there in the hole, there's nothing to do. And the lion said, "Wait a minute, hold up. How do you know that the world's about to be destroyed?" And the aardwolf, which isn't really a wolf, held up the leaf and said, "This is a magical leaf. And the leaf spoke to me. And it said that the world's about to be destroyed, but the only safe place is down here in this hole, but not to sneeze, because if you sneeze, you have to be thrown out of the hole, and you'll be up there when the world is destroyed." And so the lion settled down and thought to himself, well, at least I'll have one good last meal if the world's destroyed. Well, so while they're sitting there, an antelope comes by. And the antelope looks down in the hole. And the antelope says, "Why are you two of you down there, in that hole? So the aardwolf, which isn't really a what? Which not really a wolf, he says, "Well, the world's about to be destroyed, and the only safe place to be is down here in this hole." So the antelope, not wanting to be, killed when the world's destroyed, jumped down in the hole. The dust started scurrying up, and the aardwolf said, but don't sneeze. If you sneeze, we have to throw you out of the hole, and you'll be up there when the world is destroyed." And so they settled down, and the lion's looking at the aardwolf, which is a small animal, and the antelope, which is slightly bigger, thinking to himself, well, at least I'll have a good last meal. So they're sitting there, and and the lion gets ready to sneeze, but the aardwolf puts his finger to the nose and prevents him from sneezing. And they're sitting, and the antelope, the lion puts his to the nose to keep it from sneezing. So then they feel the earth shaking, and they hear a loud noise. And after a while, an elephant is peering down in the hole at them. And the elephant says, "Why are you down in that hole? And the aardwolf says, "The world's about to be destroyed, and the only safe place is down here in this hole." "Well, how do you know that?" this leaf is magical. And it told me the only safe place is down here in this hole. So the elephant jumped down in the hole. And when the elephant jumped down the hole, hit the bottom, a lot of dirt and dust started flying up in the air. And the odd wolf said, no, don't sneeze, don't sneeze. Whoever sneezes has to be thrown out of the hole. Don't sneeze, don't sneeze. So the elephant got ready to sneeze, and the antelope put his finger to the trunk, keep from sneezing. And then the antelope got ready to sneeze, and the lion put his finger to the nose to keep from sneezing. And the odd wolf went, and before anyone could reach the odd wolf, it went, achoo, choo, choo, choo. Elephant said, well, you know what that means. You can't stay down here. And the elephant used his trunk, grabbed the odd wolf by the paw, and threw him out of the hole. Odd wolf landed, looked down the hole, dropped the leaf, and said, maybe the leaf can tell you how to get out of the hole. See ya. And he left them. Now, I don't know if the lion, the antelope, and the elephant are still down that hole. I don't know. That's another story. But I do know this. You see, the smallest of those animals was the odd wolf. The largest of the animals was the elephant. And although the lion is said to be king of the jungle, the elephant is said to be wise. Does he use his wisdom to get out of the hole? I don't know, but I do know this. Sometimes when you're feeling down in life, you feel like you're in a hole. And sometimes you feel like the only way to get out of it, well, you got to use your brains. Because no matter how bad things may seem to you at the time, that too shall pass. For something better, your way comes. And the moral of the story is, it's not the size of the challenge. It's how you use your brain to overcome it. Asante, or as they would say in one of my parents' would say, I stepped on a pin, the pin bent, and that's the way that story went. Asante.
Hello, Despina. Lovely to see you.
So that's
Right.
that's becoming one of my favorite stories, and I'm learning it, and I tell it a little bit different each time I tell it. But yes, and I also have an African American version of it, but the African version was in my head today.
Well, I think I'm going to create an English version. I'm going to tell it back to you next time we see.
Okay.
I'll have a
All
think
right.
about it. But there's the ending. I can tell you what the ending is going to be already, because there's a saying here in Chops, and it goes like this, Baba. It doesn't matter how bad it gets, it can always get worse. And it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter how good it gets, it can always get better.
I like that.
Yeah, so I'll probably finish it, because that's what came to mind when you were telling the story, and I might be finishing. Anyway, Despina, are you going to tell that story as well? And the three of us can get together and we can all tell each other the same story and see how we get
It's a
on.
very good idea. We can split it in parts and share.
That's it. I'm going to practice my echo. And it went down and down and down and down.
That's a good idea.
Anyway,
Guys,
I was
I'm not
talking-
here to tell a story today. I just came here to wish you a happy summer, happy rest of summer, a very happy birthday to Babasi, because I know he'll be celebrating for a whole month.
Yes.
Is it his birthday?
My birthday is
Is it-
it's officially August 4th, but I've started celebrating already, and I celebrate the whole month of August. And here
Every
in
time
DC,
it is
here in
a
DC
1 month birthday for Babasi.
yes.
Right.
Here in
So how
DC,
old are you?
Watermelon.
So how
I'll be
old are you?
72. And
72.
grow.
Yeah,
72.
I'm 70 next time. So I'm 69
All right.
now. I'm 70 next. I was told I only look 64, and I thought that's great. 64, I'll go for that.
I was told I look a day younger than I looked the day before.
That's that. Yeah, I get
Bad
told.
joke.
I'm as old as me tongue and younger than me teeth. Yeah, I know.
I like that. I remember that.
Plus, we must change our way of looking at it. You must say, Babasi, that you're 72 years young, right?
Well, I claim 72 years old, and I'll tell you why. There's nothing wrong with growing older. I just want to
Absolutely,
do
yeah.
it with grace. The reason why I claim the years is that there's an old saying that says, there's only one way not to get old. And the rest of that statement is to die young. And I'm
No,
not
no, no,
ready-
no, 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 no.
ready
Let's
to.
not go for that. Okay,
Yeah,
I'll
so-
change it then. You can claim to be 72 years wise young, if you like.
Okay, I like that. Well, 73 years wise is 72 years wise.
Yes,
They've
yes.
already gave myself another year. Yay! But that's a good
Absolutely.
thing.
Yeah.
But I
Well,
enjoy-
anyway, Despina, if you're not telling stories, I'm ever so pleased you can, because it saves me texting you tomorrow morning. I was talking to Claire Mace. You remember Claire?
Of course.
Right. So the Sunday of the festival, can you do an hour's workshop or something to do with stars online for the World Storytelling Cafe? Either a workshop or a performance. And we'll do it online. I'll get John Rowe to sort it out. Okay?
We can do that, yeah.
Then Claire's going to be with you. Claire's going to be with you to be in the fire station on the Sunday for the whole of the Sunday. It's going to start at 10 and finish at 1 this year. Okay?
Okay. Okay.
Is that okay with you?
Yes, of course. Anything you like.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Okay, as long as we get. Did I see Baden there for a while?
I think
Did I
he's
see that,
hiding- He's hiding behind an iPhone.
Yeah, he probably hasn't charged it up. That's all. So. So what have you been doing all day, Despina?
Well, this summer I'm working as a night shift receptionist at a hotel, and it's a fine job. Nothing much to it, but the time is really tiring. You know, I start work at 11 o'clock and I finish at 7 in the morning. So I don't have much energy left to do things after that. But it's until the end of August. And then I resume classes and everything goes back to normal. So wish me luck for the next 40 days.
No, do you get, do you know the word, well, every time I ask you for a word, you go, that's Greek, Mike. So do you know the word?
Might be.
Braden, every time I'm talking to Despina, I say, do you know this word in English? And she goes, that's a Greek word, Mike. You know.
But it happens from time to time. So what's the word?
Lucrative.
No, that's not a Greek word. That's a Latin word. There you go.
A Latin
Well,
word.
that's a
there.
rap group.
That's it. It's somewhere down there on the Mediterranean, isn't it? Like it's either Italy. Is it lucrative to work overnight like that?
Well, in comparison to the day shift, it pays better. I wouldn't call it lucrative, but yeah, you know.
Right, good.
Yeah,
No, I know
maybe
lucrative.
An exaggeration.
Yeah.
Purely called the graveyard shift, and I've done a couple of graveyard shifts during my life. They were interesting. They were quiet, to me, less hectic, and they do pay better.
Plus, you have a lot of time to do other projects when everybody's asleep. What will you do, right?
See,
Since you're passing me the ball, this is a very nice pass for me to tell you that I am working on a very ambitious plan for my YouTube channel, which is being set as we speak, but it will be in Spanish. It's mythology in Spanish. If we have any, I don't know, any Spanish-speaking audience, I am
I think we
writing,
do. But then we
rewriting.
can't say that it's Greek to me. We'll have to say it's Spanish to me.
There
when
you
we're
go.
talking about
It will
you.
be Greek Spanish to you, yeah. I'm
Right.
writing Hesiod's cosmogony from the beginning of the cosmos, of the universe, up until the Titanomachy, in a literary technique that's called dactylic hexameter. It comes from the ancient
yeah.
epics, so it's rhythmic. It does not rhyme, but it's rhythmic, and it was a technique used by the bards in the past for memory's sake.
It's based on fives, isn't it?
It's 15 syllables at the time with one particular rhythm. It's
Yeah.
It's always the
Yeah.
same.
Yeah.
No.
The person who does it, the person I know who does it a lot is Linda Williamson, who's Duncan Williamson's wife. Duncan, it wasn't his first wife; it was about his second or so, whichever one it was. But the mother to Tommy and what's his daughter? It was not Amy. Whatever his oldest daughter was called. The mother, Linda, she still lives up in Scotland. She does that a lot. She's turned some of his stories into that. And she's
This
really
is
got
what I
on
do
to it.
now. I'm working with Giuliano Spina, Juliana's mate, her companion. He's a wonderful tech expert. If you need anything tech, Julian is the guy.
Right. Okay.
So
Yeah.
good. I have to promote him.
Yeah. Hello, Baden. I know you're there, mate. I'm seeing you on the chat. It's low. I thought you were at a festival watching the hurling in Ireland.
Hang on. No. I was watching it on telly.
I was watching on telly. All right.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but I can't join you on my laptop because it tells me that the World Storytelling Cafe open mic session today, is dangerous.
Try clearing your cache.
So I've had to join on my phone, and
Right.
I can barely hear anything. It's all a bit weird.
Right, well, it's the last one because we're not doing it now until after the bank holiday here in the UK, which is the August bank holiday, Despina and Baba, which is our big bank holiday one. So we won't be starting again in September because it's gone very quiet because everybody's off on their holidays. Everybody's away at
Same thing
festivals and working, and all the messages I'm getting, like from Keith and both Keiths. I've had a message today from both of them saying, sorry, we can't make it tonight. One's, Keith is off somewhere with his children at a barbecue, and Keith Wittering is at Fate, which is the festival, the storytelling festival. He's stewarding there. So, it's no point. I can't see any point in just carrying on with two or three of us about it. So,
Yes,
so
yes.
It'll be worse next month.
Besides, it's too hot
Yeah.
for people to do things
Okay.
like that.
Yeah.
Now. We need to be out, taking a breath of
We're
fresh
having a
air.
bit
And
of a
just in case people heard Baden call this gathering of ours dangerous, let me assure you, it is not. Feel free to come anytime you like. It's not dangerous. It's very, very safe.
Okay, as long as Baba C's not around, because things can get a bit
Now,
hairy.
see, I've been nice to you, Baden. But the nice thing
No.
about the app is they can cut out any moment. But I'm not going to say anything.
No, Baden, excuse me, Baba. Baden, I had to have words with you in Suffolk. I did say I wanted you to stop picking on him, because he's 72 now and he's really, really old, and you just can't really go around picking on these old people when you have to mention it to their carers first and say to their carers, we're just going to have a bit of banter. So, I want you to stop. You can't just go picking on him like that. And Baba,
Mike,
yes?
you don't know what me picking on him.
Yeah, and Baba,
Yes.
you just can't go picking on these old boys sat in the middle of London. He's got
Yeah,
3
whip us
pennies,
up.
and that's all he's got to spend for the whole week. He's going to sit there and he's going to go, what am I going to eat? Am I going to eat Monday or Wednesday or Friday? He gets really, really down about things like that, and he can't go out and have a drink or be sociable, and all he can do is sit in the park and look poor. Just stop it, both of you.
Mike,
Despina and I, we're going to have a nice conversation about some really expensive wine that I've got here.
I think
and
Mike
stuff
is
like
turning
that.
into a Baden night.
Mike, we need to talk about Baba C and his watermelon patch, mate.
Well, we have a celebration coming up August 3rd. That's the first Saturday in August, called Watermelon Day. And it has become Watermelon Day and Baba C's birthday celebration. And it's going to be free performers. There's going to be there'll be children performing. There'll be one year someone played the didgeridoo. There'll be raps. There's going to be puppetry. And the rumor is I might tell a story or two. And last year we turned around and the whole audience at one point, because it goes from 3 to 8 p.m. People come in shifts. And at one point, the almost entire audience were Leos, so we were all singing "Happy Birthday" to each other. So it's a lot of fun. So
Well, let me give you some advice about this Watermelon Day. If someone turns up with a didgeridoo, get them off as quickly as you can, and don't encourage them because they've got friends and they turn up with loads of them. Okay, and then you've got 20 of them all sat round in a circle, and they only just blow down a pipe. Anybody can do that. It's easy. Okay,
No, not everybody can do that. I
No, not
tried.
everybody.
I've blown my lungs out, and it was impossible to make one note out of it. No, not everybody can do it.
Right.
I know
You're
a
just
couple of
you're just doing it wrong. We'll have to show you how to use your lungs. When you come over here, we'll look at your lungs and we'll show you how to use them. Okay?
Okay,
Despina,
Aiden.
if Mike Ross asks you to let him have a look at your lungs, be very afraid.
Now stop ruining my fun, babe.
It's okay, it's okay. I have a defensive technique. If somebody whom I do not wish to look upon my lungs wishes to do so, I just cough in their face. It always works, Baden.
Ah,
Just don't tell my wife. All right?
You mates, you guys.
bad joke. Bad joke.
Uh,
Brother walking down the street. As he's walking
So
down
have
the
I
street,
told you, Baden? Have I told you the joke about Donald Trump?
not that I can remember. Go on.
No, Baba, have I told you the joke about Donald Trump? About in the
no,
kindergarten school.
tell it.
Look, no, Despina's heard it 3 times. Yes, I don't want to tell her again. Yeah, so I'll tell you when you get over here. I'll tell it to you. I'll let Despina go and have a nice life.
No, it was not about your joke. It was about the Trump followers who
Oh,
go
yeah, that
like
thing-
this
Oh,
to visit these
yeah.
cases now, right?
That thing is so suspicious because the high caliber bullet would have done more than clipped his ear. So there's a lot of and the Secret Service didn't follow its own protocol. There's a lot of suspicion behind this whole thing. Of course, there's another conspiracy thingy. But tell your bad joke, Mike, and then I'll tell my bad joke.
Right, Despina, do you really want to listen to this again?
If it's
I
a
know-
joke against Trump, yes, I do.
Because I've told you that. Right, here we go. So there's a school in Florida, Baba, right? And the headmistress stands up in the middle of Florida and goes, "I've got some really good news for you kids." And she's talking to what you call the kindergarten and what we call the primary school kids, which is 4, 5, and 6 years old. And he said, the ex-president of the United States of America, Donald Trump, is now trying to be elected to be our new president in the present election. And he's come here to talk to you. And we've got all the kindergarten kids here, and there's the 2 classes, that's 60 children. We're all sat down here, and I want you to stand up and give him a real round of applause, because here is Donald Trump, the ex-president who wants to be our new president, and in comes Donald Trump. And he sits down and he introduces himself and his wife and his children and all the rest of it, and he says, "Does anybody want to ask me any questions?" And the little boy puts his hand up. And he says, "Stand up." And he says, "What's your name?" And he says, "My name's Henry." "Well, Henry, how old are you?" "Well, I'm 5 years old." "Great. So what's your question for the ex-president who wants to be the new president, me, Donald Trump?" And Henry goes, "I haven't got one question, I've got 3. And all his advisors come round and they go, "No, it's all right. He's only 5 years old. I'm sure I can answer the questions." "What are your questions?" He goes, "Why did you move the American embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem? Everybody knows that Jerusalem ought to be an international city. Why did you pull out of the Paris Accord when you were president? That's just good people trying to save the planet. And what's all this between a fence between America and Mexico, and you're splitting families up? And on the TV the other day, I could see a whole load of children in a little cage. What the hell are you doing? We're American." And Donald Trump went, and he looked round, but all his advisors had gone, and he was there by himself. And suddenly a bell rang, and all the kids phoned up, because we call it playtime and you call it something different. And they all picked up their hands and they all ran out 2 by 2, and they all ran out into the playground, and there they all were playing for half an hour. So they all come back in and they all sit down, and the headmistress comes in and she says, "I've got some really good news for you. Donald Trump is here. Donald Trump, who was the president of the United States, he wants to be the president again. There's an election going on, and he's here, and he's going to come and do a Q&A. In comes Donald Trump, sits down, introduces himself, his family and everything else, sits down and says, "Has anybody got any questions?" And a little girl sits and stands up. She goes, I've got a question. He goes, what's your name? He goes, Sophie. She goes, Sophie, my name's Donald Trump. What's your question? She goes, I haven't got one question, I got 5. He goes, 5? And he sits back and he goes, it's okay, it's okay. She's a woman and she's only 6. She's a girl. I'm sure I can answer her questions. What are your questions, Sophie? And Sophie goes, why did you move the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem? Everybody knows that it should be an international city. Why did you pull out of the Paris Accord? There's only good people trying to make the world a better place. What's this thing about a fence and a wall between Mexico and us, where you're stopping everybody coming, and all we could see was children in cages, and you're locking everybody up, and it's really, really horrible. Why did we have playtime 30 minutes early? And what have all your goons done to my friend Henry?
I knew that was coming. I have heard that before. That's good.
Right? Okay.
Maybe
I'm sure I've told it. I'm sure I told it you before. I know I've told I've told it to about 6 times now.
And in the meantime, I looked into it, and I have sources that claim that little Tommy has been sent to Guantanamo.
Oh, that is bad. Okay, so I have a dad joke.
I'm going to add that. I'm going to add that in. Okay. I'm going to say I was talking to a very famous Greek storyteller called She Knows. Okay.
I have a dad joke, but some people say this is a granddad joke. But Baden would say it's a bad joke or no joke at all. So this story is about a brother walking down the street. It's night. He's walking down the street and he passes a cemetery. As he passes the cemetery, a hearse pulls out of the cemetery and starts going in the same direction where he's going. Well, the brother keeps on walking, and the hearse passes him, but he hits a bump, and out from the back of the hearse pops a coffin. And the coffin hits the ground and starts tumbling, and then suddenly starts following the brother. Well, the brother's thinking, well, maybe it's just something to do with the way that the street is shaped and, and it's going down. So he keeps walking, but the coffin keeps picking up speed and matching him. So the brother begins to jog. Well, the coffin keeps on tumbling, and starts catching up with the brother. The brother breaks out into a run, and he's running, and he's running, and he's running, and he's sweating, and he's running. And the coffin is behind him, tumbling, and catching up with him. And the brother makes a sharp left into an alley, and the coffin makes a sharp left into the alley, and it's tumbling. It's catching up with the brother. The brother comes out the other end of the alley and dashes down the street. The coffin keeps tumbling, and catches up with the brother. The brother gets to his apartment, and he goes into the apartment, up a flight of stairs, and closes his door and bars it shut. And the coffin keeps tumbling, and it goes into the apartment. It knocks down the front door. It goes up the stairs, and it knocks down the door to his apartment. And the brother's he's full of fear, and he doesn't know what to do. And he runs to his bathroom, and he shuts the door, and he starts, and the coffin's banging on the door. And the brother opens up and he sees he starts grabbing stuff and throwing it. And the coffin bursts into the bathroom, and the brother takes some cough syrup and smashes it against the coffin.
Oh,
and
no.
It's a thinker, and the coffin stops. Baden got it. See, he threw the cough syrup against the coffin. And the coffin stops.
Yeah, right.
It's bad.
I would only say this, Baba. It isn't the worst joke I've ever heard, because the worst joke I've ever heard is about the guy who runs down a little furry thing in the middle of the road, then comes back with some hair restorer. All right, that can take about 20 minutes, and that's the very worst story I've ever heard. Okay.
Oh.
But yours is the second worst story I've ever heard.
I love it. It's really a bad joke. I love
it. The worst part was you could see it coming.
Yeah.
it's like you turn and you see the headlights, but it's too late to get out of the way. It was one of those.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, the coffin stopped, and that was a good part.
Oh.
Yeah. And what does NASA stand for?
Need another 7 astronauts? Please don't say
Yeah,
that.
that's about as hard. Yeah.
Oh dear. Right, gentlemen
Right, a gentleman and lady. I'm going to call
and
it a stop
lady.
at 7 o'clock. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
But you
It's
didn't
been a
tell a
lovely
story.
talking. It's lovely talking to you. It's the last one of the season. We'll start again in September. This autumn, I'm looking to see you all. Baden, I don't know if you're up in Hereford again, if you're in Bromyard. Are you coming up to Bromyard again this year?
No, I was waiting for what's his name, the organizer, to get in touch, but the invite never
Right.
came. I think John spoke to him. I spoke to him. He said he was going to do it, but it didn't happen. So there you
Right.
go.
Okay. So,
Is
well,
anyone
hopefully I'll see you over the autumn.
Is
Despina,
any
I
one of
know
you
I'll see
going
you in
to before Match One Log? Is anyone going to the Epic Weekend in Cambridge in September?
Yes, I'm going to that, to
Oh,
the
great!
step
I'll
up.
see you there.
Brilliant.
Is that
No, I'm
the
going to the step
SFS
up.
It's
Yeah.
not a
event?
step up. It's 1 week after that.
Oh no, I'm going to the step up. I won't go to the one after that. I'm going to the step up. Then I'll be just wrapped up here. We're waiting for the results for the bids to come in,
Mm.
and which are it's beginning to, we're just holding back a little bit because we don't know how big the festival is going to be. We've got 2 bids in, we get either of them, then we've got a bit of headroom. Okay,
Are you
but
talking
we've got
about
some
Gawi?
basics. Yeah.
Okay. Keep me posted, yeah?
Yeah, no, absolutely. But the Gary for the forging of the links is stage 2. The bid for that is huge. It's about 90,000 quid or something. It's massive. Okay,
Well,
and
but
if we
just let
get
me
it,
know if it's happening. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So, and I just can't go around promising a whole load of people because I can't, because I haven't got the money to be able to pay them. So that's all. So, and we're just having to
Well,
wait a bit. There is
when I
some
say
money. I know.
I put
when I
my
say keep me
email address.
posted, I mean just let me know whether you're bringing Babasi over or not. That's all I need to know, because that'll tell me whether I'm coming or not.
What he means, Babasi, is that he's not
If you
coming
know-
if
if
you're
you-
not there.
If you know what I mean, Mike. Yeah, yeah. All right.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
but you can't afford. Yeah, I know you've put a contract out on him, but because the SAS told me, because there's some pals of mine in the SAS, and they told me.
They-
I know
They
you.
missed.
Yeah,
They
but
got
40.
they got the wrong guy, and B, they missed.
No.
Well,
It
Baden, when you come to
no.
Washington,
The only complaint is with the SAS, they normally charge more than 30,000 nectar points. Okay,
Ah,
they charge a bit more than that. Okay.
so Baden, when you come to Washington D.C., I have a place in West Virginia for you to stay.
have a good summer, guys.
And you.
Look after
Great summer.
yourselves.
And you
And-
take care, all of you.
I
Okay.
put my
Okay.
email address in the chat. Just a
Yeah,
reminder.
no, Baba, I've got your email address. I'll send you an email. I'll be sat in the office all this week till Wednesday, because Thursday I'm off to Cambridge with John. So
All right, I
I'll
just
send you
want
an
to stay in
email and
contact
we'll
with
have
everybody.
Absolutely.
And so anyhow, yeah, I'm looking forward to being in Marrakesh in October, and then in January for the official International Storytelling Festival. And I got some other biggies coming up in DC. I mean, coming up in the DC area, as we call the DMV, between October and January. But I'm looking for stuff to do now because I like to eat. All right, good
But-
people, and Baden, take
Take
care.
care, all. Okay,
Okay, you take
Despina.
care.
And
You
once
take
again,
care.
Waleed, thank you for flying
Yeah,
the magic.
Waleed,
This
if you're
is
still
what
listening.
flying us
Oh,
all.
next week it'll be is it Karen? What is his first name? Is it Bob or is it? I forgot his first
Bob
name.
Kanigas.
Bob
Bob
Karen?
Kanigas.
Bob Kanigas.
Kanigas.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I
I
have the
hope.
wrong note. He's going to be Friday, next Friday, and then the Friday after that, it's going to be Baba C telling stories and celebrating his birthday. All right,
Okay.
everyone, take care. Stay blessed.
Okay, you
Bye,
take care.
guys.
Stay
Bye-bye,
blessed.
bye-bye, bye-bye,
See you in
bye-bye.
September.
See you later. Ta-da, ta-da.
Take care, babe.